Hi, Lord Magicus, and it is time to play some more Merfolk in Legacy. That's right, you heard me. I said Legacy because we've got Simic Merfolk, and we're going to try running that through Legacy. Now, this is not something that comes up very often, or maybe even at all. Legacy, for the most part, has been mono blue for a very long time, but it was recently suggested in the Discord that maybe, under certain metagames, maybe Simic Merfolk might be better for Legacy. Now, Mono Blue is very, very good against all of the blue decks in Legacy, but I think that if we are expecting to run into more of the not blue decks in Legacy, that Simic might actually have somewhat of an advantage. Now, this weekend, I have a Legacy 1K and a Team Trios coming up for which I will also be playing Legacy. So I'm looking to test out this idea and see how this works and before playing. One of the biggest differences between playing Legacy online and playing Legacy in paper is that Legacy decks, or at least a lot of the blue decks, are more expensive in paper because the price of things like Volcanic Island and Tropical Island and Underground Sea are ridiculously expensive in paper. So a lot of people, when they're building their first Legacy decks for paper, they might opt towards things like Death and Taxes, or maybe Burn, this maybe Affinity, or even just Eldrazi is another one. So there's a lot more non-blue decks that people resort to simply because they're just a lot cheaper to build, because dual lands are expensive and not everybody has, thousands of dollars to spend on it. So if you are going into a paper legacy event and you're expecting that maybe you're going to play against more of those kind of decks, then maybe Simic is not the worst idea ever. So let's talk about this and see what's the biggest difference here. Well, in this version of this deck, we do not have Chalice of the Void. Instead, we have you still have your 4 Force of Wills, but then this deck is going to play some Force of Negation and Daze in the main deck. And that's kind of going to take that same slot where Chalice did before, but the reason we want these is because Simic is all about applying pressure and being aggressive. So we're going to use our actual mana to cast as many creatures as we can, and try to just use free spells to protect ourselves from dying against random combo or sweepers. If you look, one significant difference is we do not have Mutavault in this list, nor do we have, we only have 18 lands instead of the normal 20. This is because there is just a lot less room to cast things using the Mutavault, because we don't have Chalice of the Void, and we have to have enough blue and green sources for a Merfolk Mistbinder, and also green sources for Kamena Speaker. So the mana base for this is going to look a hell of a lot like the modern one, with the main difference being now we have tropical islands instead of breeding pools. So we still get our 4 basic islands. We have 4 fetches, 4 caverns. Cavern is different. In modern, we usually prefer to have access to Botanical Sanctum so that we can cast things like Deprive out of the sideboard. But since we only need all of the spells that we're playing are single color spells, we don't have any spells that or things like Force of Negation, for instance, we don't have to have double blue in order to cast that like we would with Deprive. We can get away with Cavern of Souls, which will let us cast all of our Merfolk just fine, but it also then protects us from opposing chalices or counter spells. So I think that'll be good. Yeah, we're going to play Waterlogged Grove, which that card is also new to the format. And this is something, I don't know that I'd want to play this in mono blue, because one of the strongest aspects of the mana base in mono blue is being able to have a bunch of basic lands to play around Wasteland, but we're going very aggressively, so we need to aggressively fix our mana. And since we don't have Mutavault, we're kind of replacing it with this, so that way we still have the ability to have our lands not all be useless. So we can, instead of having a land that attacks, we have a land that trades for another card. We're still going to play True Name Nemesis because that thing's ridiculously powerful, especially when it's uncounterable. But yeah, we have 12 Lords in the deck now, and another huge benefit, Kumena Speaker is a very aggressive one-drop where it can very easily be attacking for 3 on turn 2. And that helps a lot because that extra damage from having the Kumena Speaker will add up quickly, and we don't have the benefit of taking advantage of people shocking themselves in Legacy, so every extra point of damage you can get will help a lot. And the deck also just has more 1-drops in general, because now we have 7 Merfolk 1-drops and then the 4 Aether Vials. So we get to use our Vials better, and we'll have more spots where we can drop in 1-drops if we have like 3 lands or a Vial and 1. Helps us curve a little bit better. Yeah. So that kind of takes care of how this main deck is structured, and then if we go to the sideboard, this Return to Nature card is actually, I believe, I think this was recent. Yeah, Return to Nature. It's a naturalize, except it also has a third mode where it can exile a card from a graveyard, and that's going to be good against decks like lands, where they might try to play something like Choke against us. Well, Choke is bad. We don't. It's not as bad for this deck because we actually have a lot more ways. Like we have the Waterlogged Groves to help us to make mana through Choke, but Return to Nature can blow things like that up. Or maybe somebody plays a moat or something, that would be terrible. Or yeah, for lands, like actually probably Molten Vortex would be one that we'd consider. Stuff like that, we can actually use Return to Nature to blow it up. But the third mode is also actually really good because we can use it to exile Life from the Loam, or if they're going on a Glacial Chasm lock, we can actually exile the Chasm from their graveyard before they can return it back to their hand. So it's really strong. Exiling a card from a graveyard is a very powerful effect. It might be relevant against Reanimator, for instance, if we can if we don't die to their first attempt to reanimate, which I think we have good chances with having 6 force effects in the main deck and 2 more in the sideboard. Yeah, exiling a card from the graveyard can be really relevant against the Reanimator decks. So there's some interesting utility to this. They can just straight up destroy Sword of Fire and Ice, which is actually really helpful. And there's a few more niche applications for this card, but it's a card that, only the green deck gets access to. Now, there's a few other cards that you might consider playing depending upon what your local metagame might be like. The Collector Oath, Null Rodney, he's definitely an option to play in this kind of deck. Yeah, there's a few things you could go about this route. So, if you have to play against a lot of Enchantress, you can play Back to Nature, which just destroys all enchantments for 2 mana. Very good. So we're gonna play. I think we're gonna play 3 of these because this kind of covers like a little bit of graveyard hate. It does sort of the same thing that like Surgical Extraction does for us, where it gets rid of Life from the Loam right away. But it also it's something that we can consider bringing in against a deck like Stoneblade. If they're going to play something like Back to Basics, which that hurts us a lot more now because we only have 4 basics in our deck. So we have the option of blowing up, Sword of Fire and Ice, or maybe blow up Back to Basics. Or, against those decks, it's relevant if they play Snapcaster and they're going to like Swords to Plowshares your guy, you can exile the swords from their graveyard. So Return to Nature can effectively counter Snapcaster's flashback ability. So we might bring that in those matchups. And we also are going to have at least two Grafdigger's Cage. I think that Cage is kind of important. We're going to bring that in against any of the Dreadhorde Arcanist decks because we cannot have them casting things from the graveyard. That would be terrible. So the rest is pretty standard. Dismember is going to take care of stuff like Monastery Mentor, maybe Tarmogoyf, just those kind of usual suspects. 2 more Force of Negations in the sideboard in case we come up against combo. So again, having all the counterspells in this deck be free is part of the strategy here. We want to be able to use our mana to play creatures and then use the extra cards in our hand in order to not die. Echoing Truth is helpful against Ensnaring Bridge if we come up against it, but also it's removal for Merit Lodge, which is another card that we might struggle with. So having more removal for Merit Lodge is going to be important, because that Merit Lodge is a very, very good card against our deck. We don't have a lot of good ways to interact with it outside of Echoing Truth. The only other real plan is to Merfolk Trickster it down and just try to kill them before they get to untap and attack us with it. But the other card that we're going to play in this deck, and I think this is going to be good here, this is something I was discussing earlier with some people, Tidal Warrior. A lot of the times we might get into board stalls against things like, you know, Tarmogoyfs and maybe like Knight of the Reliquaries or Scavenging Oozes on the opposing side. And the Legacy deck doesn't have a good way to push through damage usually. We don't have a card like Spreading Seas in the deck that helps us get Island Walk online. However, Tidal Warrior can be that way to like push through damage when the board is stalled. So any deck, or even like against Death and Taxes, you know, we might not have very good attacks if they have Mother of Runes online in order to just block and give it protection from blue. Yeah, they can just absorb it and then crack back and kill us. However, if we have Tidal Warrior, now all of a sudden we can have Island Walk online and we can push through damage unblockably. There's also times where Tidal Warrior can turn off certain lands if we're concerned about, you know, Glacial Chasm. Well, guess what? We're going to turn Glacial Chasm into an island, and then you're going to start taking damage all of a sudden. So yeah, there's a lot of application for Tidal Warrior in this kind of deck, but the biggest reason we'd want to play it over something like Spreading Seas is Tidal Warrior can attack as well. So all of the Mistbinders and all the Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident will pump up Tidal Warrior, and it makes that also a threat. So we might not even need Island Walk, but the more options we have, the better. So I think this is going to be a good list to play against a lot of the unfair deck, or I'm sorry, a lot of the fair decks in the format, like the ones that are not blue. So if we come up against stuff like Eldrazi, we want to just dump Lords into play so our creatures just become 4/4s and 5/5s immediately to contend with Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher. Same thing, we want to try to get out of range of like Tarmogoyf and Knight of the Reliquary, the kind of cards that like a lot of the green decks play, while at the same time trying to stay protected against decks like lands, and in having stuff like Return to Nature might help with that. Or also, even getting out of range of Punishing Fire can be a big deal. With having 12 Lords in the deck makes it easy to, once you have your Merfolk at 3/3 or higher, Punishing Fire cannot kill them anymore. So that will be incredibly helpful to us and maybe help us steal some games against it too. So, enough of me talking. I don't know how well this is going to do, but this is what we are going to try. So, let's take it into a Legacy League and see how it does. This is a completely random experiment, so who knows how this is going to turn out. Maybe this is going to... Online, I suspect it won't be quite as strong because the blue lands are a lot cheaper online. So, more people play blue on MTGO. We'll see how it goes. Alright, well, here we go. Round 1. Won the die roll, so that's off to a good start. I think we need to have another land. We're going to mulligan. This is not really great, but we're going to keep it anyway. And we have to bottom that. Alright. So let's play Misty Rainforest, and we will play Cometa Speaker. So they kept 7. It's unfortunate. Hopefully by doing this, maybe we can encourage the opponent to try to wasteland our tropical island. Since we have a bunch of lands in hand, that would be good for us. But otherwise, we're just going to play Master and crack in for 3. That's not a good sign. Alright, well that's going to help. Alright. Let's see. Alright, let's attack. Basic Swamp, I don't know, that's hard to say what that might be. So it doesn't have like Fatal Push, it looks like. Alright, so what do we got going on? This could be like a Storm deck, maybe. I'm just trying to, but usually they'd play like a discard spell or something. Sure. Mox Diamond. Alright, so maybe this is 4-color Loam. This could be, oh, okay, so this is Turbo Depths. So you can just, alright, well, first strike means that this is going to be a problem. So we have two options here. We could play Silvergill Adept, but Silvergill's not going to get through this either. I think what we have to do is we'll attack with Kumenis. Well, the other thing though is if we don't play Silvergill first, then we might not be able to cast it ever. And maybe we need this in order to stop something like Sylvan Scrying. That's a reasonable argument, and we might draw another 1-drop. Alright, let's... Alright. Is there any 1-drop I could... Alright, I think we'll attack first. He didn't play a second land, so it's entirely possible he doesn't have another land to play. Or, yeah. Yeah, he might be choked on mana. Oh, no, he discarded the Catacomb, so yeah, his second land he chose to discard, which is an interesting choice. Force of Will is helpful. Alright, so that was a good reason to do that. So now maybe we can pitch True Name to Force of Will. I think that's rough. How are we going to get through this? That means we're not going to be able to attack through this thing. But I think then our plan's just going to have to be to play True Name Nemesis. Alright, True Name, we're relying on you. Or if he's going to crop rotation, we have to be able to Force of Will that instead. Alright, that's good. We can now pitch the Daze. So we're not going to attack. We are going to play this, though. I'm gonna use the Daze first. Actually, no, he might be tight on mana. Well, no, it's either that or Force anyway, so we'll just counter it by bouncing the island, because you can't pay the 1. That's fine. So then True Name represents a way to try to push through damage. Alright, well, we can't attack into this. We're just hoping that he doesn't find a way to get Merit Lodge in line. Wasteland is okay. I mean, he can't really mana screw us at this point, so... If we draw any blue card, we're going to hold on to it. Actually, I'm willing to do this right now. Beautiful. Now we have a blue card for Force of Will. So we actually have a decent chance of trying to race Dark Depths here. Yeah, we have to counter this. Because we can't have him find Dark Depths and just play it, because then he has Merit Lodge online. Alright. So, we might be okay here. We'll play Kumena Speaker, because then we can try to Alpha Strike next turn. So we can send in Speaker, Adept, and Kumena Speaker, and hopefully that will be enough. Because at the moment he'd only be able to block 2 things. So I think we're in a good spot. If he doesn't have something like Assassin's Trophy, we should be fine. Alright, we got there. We put enough pressure on. Alright, so this is a deck where we don't have a whole lot of good ways to stop him. We definitely want Echoing Truth here. The Daze was okay, but it might not be most of the time. And True Name is also fine there, but I have a feeling that we don't really want... Well, we're taking out Benthic Biomancer, I think, because we're never going to be able to adapt it. We don't have the mana most of the time. And I'm going to say maybe True Name Nemesis comes out. What else? What other hate card do we want? We could bring in more Force of Negations. We could also bring in Tidal Warriors. So the problem is that I'm going to check this quick, but I'm reasonably sure I know the answer to this question. Yeah. I think if we turn Dark Depths into an island, and then he tries to copy it with Thespian Stage, it does not. It will still become a Dark Depths. Yeah, so the Tidal Warrior can't stop it from applying. Yeah. So it can't do that. Is there any other reason we might want this, though? Maybe just Force of Negation here. We just need to have more ways to try to win. Yeah. They might place, like, if they play Choke against us, it's not that bad here. Alright, I guess we're gonna do it like this. Still trying to figure out exactly how to sideboard against this deck, especially because this strategy is a little bit different, so... This hand is actually kind of poop. I think we have to mulligan this. 5 lands is not where I really want to be. This is better. And we can keep that on top. Daze is at least some attempt to interact. Yeah, that's a neat card. Alright, does this mean we're getting Thought Seized? Nope, Dark Confidant. Alright. That's rough. So, I guess, what do we do here? We'll play Misty Rainforest, and then we will pass. If we need to, we can turn it into an island. Yeah, we're definitely turning this into an island, I think. That's not a good sign. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So right now we're just on the Echoing Truth plan. Yeah. And the problem is that we know he has Wasteland in his hand, so I guess what's going to happen right now is he could just Vampire Hexmage this thing back, but... Alright, let's play the Waterlogged Grove first. I'll see if we can bait him into using the Wasteland. Because then, if he uses the Wasteland, we'll take some hits off of Confidant. Okay, that's good. Sure, you can have your Merit Lodge, but I'm still going to Echoing Truth it back to your hand. Let's get Basic Island. Hopefully won't be able to protect it. Alright. So, we were able to effectively counter the combo, but Dark Confidant's still going to be able to dig for it pretty deep. That's not incredibly helpful. Yeah, we just have to let this happen. Alright, that actually was fine. Yep. So we can still play Master, and then Confidant will not be able to attack us anymore. Alright, let's just get on the play as many Lords as we can plan. And we will trade Lord with a Confidant if necessary. He's so good at just revealing lands. He has a Bayou and a Swamp in hand. So actually, here, use the Wasteland. Hope he doesn't Hymn to Tarak us again, though. That would be terrible. Yeah, that's happening. That's bad. It means he can now find another Dark Depths and hopefully attempt to go off. But he can't play it this turn. Well, that's a beautiful draw. Now, we have protection against a second Merit Lodge. Finally, you're going to take damage. Even though Confidant's been trying like hell to make you take damage. He is so good at just drawing lands off of this. That is a skill in Magic, ladies and gentlemen. Just 4 lands off of it is amazing. Why don't more people play this in their deck? Just draw an extra card every turn for 2 mana. No downside. No! Oh! Wow, what a blowout. Yeah. Now we're in trouble. Alright, well, we played that. That's not helpful. We need at least another land to be able to really do anything with that. If we had that last turn, like, you know, being able to exile Lord of Atlantis to counter that and protect Truth would have been great. You can Assassin's... Oh, no, he's Abrupt. That's even worse. Why couldn't it be Assassin's Trophy? Well, the fact that he's not blocking is good because that means he probably doesn't have it yet. He needs to draw more into the deck. Oh, fuck, he drew another one. That's really, really terrible. And there's nothing we can do about that. Yeah, you may as well attack. I can't do anything. I guess we have forces up, but we need more lands and creatures before this Confidant kills us. Man, 2 Hymnotaroks and 2 Abrupt Decays, like, through, you know, and having the Merit Lodge on top of it, just too much. Fortunately, like, he seems to be flooding out, though, so who knows, like, what he's got in his hand. But we really need to start drawing some creatures so we can actually race Confidant. 5 cards, like, this is a crushing amount of card advantage. At this point, we're just holding on to these forces just to try to stop, like, Vampire Hexmage from killing us. Alright, you're a creature. Fatal Push? Is that what we got going on? Oh, that's bad. Okay. Yeah, okay. You know what? If you can pay 30 mana to win the game like that, then that's fine. You deserve it at that point. And he just keeps ripping lands off of this thing. It's insane. That is helpful. Alright, let's attack first. This means if we draw, like, True Name Nemesis, we can play it. Or if we draw another land, we might sack it for a card instead. Alright, so having Waterlogged Grove means we can now hardcast Force of Negation if necessary to protect Force of Will. Yeah, man, you take off your 2 counters. Yep. I kind of feel like he should be attacking us with Dark Confidant here, though. Yeah, we're definitely going to Force of Negation that Hymnoturok. Because it's certainly coming. No. We'll tap it for black mana because there's no reason to hurt ourselves here. Thank you, Urborg, for making us not take damage off of this. So if he's not going to block Comena Speaker, you should definitely be attacking with Dark Confidant. It's clearly a mistake. You should not be holding this back unless you're worried about trying to block with it. Alright, well, we can't cast Silvergill, but at least Force of Will's online. All we can do is hope that eventually that this Confidant's gonna kill him somehow. Sure. Alright. I think we can race you removing counters, I think. Liliana the Last Hope is bad for us. We have to Force a Will that. There's no getting around it. That card has to eat force. We're close. We're gonna force him to block with Bob eventually. He's been drawing like terribly though. If we could draw a Lord of Atlantis off the top, then I think we'd have a much better chance. Because then he has to block with Confidant, and we can kill him the following turn. See, now he's in a position where he has to actually consider blocking, because Confidant might just kill him. So here's a good question. I don't know if we want to actually attack into this just yet. Because he's probably going to block if we do. I think we need to wait. Let's hope that Dark Confidant tries to kill him. Our ideal scenario is we want to draw a Lord, force him to block, and then still be able to try to kill him. So maybe he can... I'm not sure what I'm hoping for at this point. I don't think they play any 4-drops in their deck. He might actually pay the 30 mana. That's entirely possible. He's at 1. Alright. So he has another Liliana on top. So he might have to use Liliana to kill his own Confidant. But if he does, then he's dead to this. Ah, fuck. Well, he's got Merit Lodge now. So I think we... Fuck. Alright, we need Echoing Truth off the top. We need the 3rd Truth or a Trickster, I think. Because now he can use Stage, copy the Dark Depths, get his Merit Lodge, and he can kill his Dark Confidant with Liliana. I think Merfolk Trickster would definitely buy us time if he doesn't kill his Confidant. But he has to. This thing has to die. So we are looking for one of 4 cards off the top, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, so it's got to be either Trickster or Echoing Truth. We've gone through 2 Truths, so we have 1 left, and we have 3 Tricksters. Scalding Tarn is not going to do it. Alright, you got it, opponent. Close. So maybe... You know what, I'm going to bring in the Dismembers, I think. I'm going to take out the True Name Nemesis here. Because I think we need to just be able to kill Dark Confidant so it does not just nut crush us with value. That's got to be worth more than, yeah, more than the potential of True Name. Alright, guess we're going to play. No, we need to have 2 lands here, or Vial, but this is okay. I mean, we have to keep it, I think, because we have Vial, and... Alright, we're keeping. He kept 7 cards every time. That's good, we can keep that on top. So if he does play Confidant, we can dismember it, and if he tries... if we need Force of Negation, we have that up too. It does mean that, we have to get this Vial up to 2. So if he Abrupt Decays Vial, we're in trouble. Alright, yeah, you can blow that up if you need to, but... no, that's fine. We can live with that. We're definitely going to dismember this. Can't be having him draw that many cards. Sure. Mox Diamond's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that was gonna happen regardless of what we did. If you blow up my Aether Vial, there's nothing I can really do about it, and you have another Bob. Unfortunately, this is not Force of Will, which we would have probably used to counter that. If we can draw another land, then we can definitely get this Vial online. Damn it! Where were you before? So we're if we have to use Force of Negation, this Mistbinder's going away. So he's discarded all of his lands to his diamonds, though, so... Well, but he did find Thespian Stage off of Bob because he's a champion that doesn't take damage off of it. Yeah, we have to do this. Because he'll just find Dark Depths. Yeah. That doesn't really help us. We don't have any islands. We need, like, Tropical Island. So the Dismember definitely helped, but having two... Ah, well, he just found it anyway, so I think that we're just dead. I mean, we can beat a lot of draws, but we can't beat him just drawing it naturally like that and having it, so... It is what it... And, I mean, our mulligans kind of sucked. We had to mulligan, I think, every single game. This is just never a good matchup for us. I guess we want... Trickster doesn't even, like, do it, because it only stops it for a turn. I don't think you want to attack here, because if I just put a 2-drop in, like... Alright. Alright, let's pretend we have Merfolk Trickster. Nope. Yeah, this is not a good matchup for either version of Merfolk, to be honest, and the fact that, yeah, we can't beat multiple Confidants plus him just naturally drawing it with the diamonds, like, never gonna happen. Alright, we lose. Good game, opponent. Yeah, that was just insane, and we couldn't stop it. I mean, I think we had a reasonable chance, but just couldn't quite get there. So, sorry. What is this notification for? Yeah, okay. Let me turn the volume on this off. Alright, well, you know, Black-Green Depths is definitely a deck where I think being extra aggressive is helpful, just even that was not enough. That kind of sucks. But, yeah, it's like I said, it's a matchup we're kind of disadvantaged against anyway, so it's not like, you know, it's wrong that we lost it, and I don't know that Mono Blue would have done any better there. If anything, Mono Blue would probably be slower and may have done actually worse than that, so... I don't know. I guess we'll see. Let's find us another match, though. So, I think the deck was fine, but we just need to draw more gas. We didn't quite get there. This is taking, you know, a ton of time to do this. Almost 2 minutes in this queue. Come on. I want to play. Play now. If anything, though, it might be an argument to put a 4th Echoing Truth in the deck. That might be relevant. Alright, here we go. Join. Because we really need Echoing Truth against Depths. It's hard to win without it. I think we're going to... Yeah, we got 2 lands and a hand of things that we can do. We're going to keep. We are in the draw. Volcanic Island, it's either a Delver deck or this is a Sneak and Show more than likely. He's probably going to use Wasteland, but alright, let's play the... I don't know. We'll play Tropical Island. Vile. Maybe he'll think we're on, like, Bant Spirits or something. Probably won't know what to think about this. And if he forces Vile, that's actually good because, it gives, like, if he does have Wasteland, then maybe it protects us a little bit. Right, well now his Force of Wills are just never doing anything. No, this is definitely show and tell. Yep, we don't have it this time. Let's put into play, I guess... Does it matter? I guess we'll put in Silvergill Adept. Yeah, he put in Omniscience, so... He can't cast sorceries while this is on the stack. Alright. What can you do with Omniscience? Do you have enough to get there? Alright, yeah, we're dead. That was quick. Alright, well, on the plus side, we know what it is that we need here. We need Force of Negation. For sure. And True Name is really slow in this matchup, and with 8 force effects, I think we have a pretty good shot. What else? I mean, Echoing Truth is okay, but it's not amazing. All it really does is just bounce Sneak Attack, but that might be kind of slow sometimes. It can also bounce Gristlebrand, I guess. So we'll take out True Name and we'll just bring in those. I don't think the rest of this really matters. Alright, I'm going to do it like this. So he saw that we had Silvergill Adept, but, I mean, whatever. He had, like, turn 2, just had it, and we did not have a force for it. That's just how the combo matches go sometimes. So we got to win game 2 and 3, and usually we have a good chance of doing that. It's a little bit tougher without Venser and Phantasmal Image, for sure. But we do have 3 Tricksters and 8 Forces to help us. So hopefully that's good enough. And also the 1 Daze, that's not irrelevant either. That's kind of like a 9th Force. Alright, I would love to play. We do have a Force. Yeah, we're going to keep. We'll probably pitch Echoing Truth first. We'll try to get Master online. If we don't find another 2-drop, then, you know, we might end up cracking Waterlog Grove looking for Kamena Speaker or something. Alright. Okay. So if he has it turn 2 this time, at least we can try to interact with him. So I guess here, in case he's just going to put, like, Gristlebrand in play, we're going to exile Force of Negation, exiling Force of Negation, because if he just puts, like, Emrakul in play, we're losing anyway. Alright. That's okay. We will sacrifice it and draw a card just to see if we draw like Humana Speaker. That's alright. I wish I would have known about that first, because then I would have kept the other force. I only did it just in case he has, I don't know if they might try to just put Gristlebrand in play, because bouncing that would be fine. That's actually okay. So as long as he doesn't have Lotus Petal, we're just going to bounce that back to his hand. Oh, good. So let's do that now. I should have played the Waterlogged Grove first. Alright, attack. Because if yeah, we could have played around Days if we had done that. It was kind of stupid not to. Show and tell. Probably I don't want to take the chance that he found Omniscience, so I am going to actually attempt to Force Will this. Alright. He's going to look for his own force to try to force back. But he might show and tell to try to put Sneak Attack in play and then still have the Volcanic up for it. But now if he finds a way to put Sneak Attack in play, we can still just Echoing Truth it again. But he did not, so hoping he doesn't find any more lands. Well, he does, so he has another land, so if he gets Sneak Attack online, then we're kind of fucked. So how do we do this? Merfolk Mistbinder is not going to be good enough here, because he can definitely put Sneak Attack in play unless we draw a force, so I guess we're going to attack. So at this point, the option, if he puts Emrakul in play, we're probably going to lose, but if it's just Gristlebrand, we actually have a chance, because if we can bounce it back, yeah, maybe we can have a chance. Alright, so he can't draw 7 cards off of it. We're not going to let him draw cards if we don't have to. Yep, we bought us a turn, so maybe if we can find Trickster, that's not good. All we can really do is just lower his life total and hope that that's enough. Oh, hold on. Undo. Alright. Just looking to dodge, like, Emrakul, I think. We can, yeah, he'll go up to 9, have to sack Gristlebrand, but going up to 9 still means he's dead, so hopefully if he doesn't find anything off of the 7 cards that, like, actually threatens to kill us, then I think we're okay. Maybe. There's a, it depends. He has to use this to put the Gristlebrand in play. But if he can find Emrakul, then he wipes the board, and then we're just going to die. So we're hoping he doesn't have Emrakul. That's not a good sign. Yep. Alright. We're F6ing through this turn. We have no other way to do anything here, so If we find another Lord off the top, it definitely seals it. He has to just attack right now. Goes up to 9, but I don't know if it matters. Like, yeah, I take 7, I go to 10. You have to sacrifice this. Hope that I can't kill you. He could put a creature in play as a blocker, but then he won't be able to attack. And I'll have to go to 1 to do it if he draws 7 cards. So that doesn't work either. I don't know, it depends on what the 3 cards are in his hand. So he went to 2, so apparently they weren't that great. He can't use the Ancient Tombs. They're offline. He's at 2. I think we might get there. I don't know. Alright, we got there. Sick. So Echoing Truth was kind of relevant there. That's good to know. The Dismember's not really important for the most part. They sometimes bring in a 3-mana creature that acts as like a show and tell, but Echoing Truth can still bounce it. Sorry, and the Echoing Truth can also bounce the Gristlebrand so they don't get to gain their 7 life. I maybe Benthic Biomancer. We might want to take that off. What are the chances that we're adapting Biomancer? Probably not great. We could, like, cut them off of red mana, though. That's possible. Just trying to think. You know what? This is probably... I'm going to say maybe this is a chance for Tidal Warrior to be better. Alright, let's do it. Because if we can, like, upkeep, hit Volcanic Island, then you can't actually cast Show and Tell. This is fine. So ideally, we want to pitch Force to a Force. And try to get the Silvergill in play first, and then if we have to pitch something else, we'll do that. See, this is another reason why having the fuck. He's just going for it. He's got it in like turn 2, and it's uncounterable, so. Alright. Well, if you have it, you have it. There's nothing I can do about that. Play Silvergill. We would really like to draw, yeah, the other 1-drop, Tidal Warrior, to try to turn off Boseiju on his upkeep, but it's probably too late. I mean, at any given point, he's just threatening to just cast it. He didn't cast any cantrips either, so like his hand has to be like all land. He doesn't have it either. He just kept a bunch of mana sources in that. Unless it's like Emrakul or something. That's a possibility. Well, I don't think that we can't like play around this forever. We have to actually threaten to kill him. I'm not going to play this Polluted Delta though. Because if he just Emrakuls me, that's not great. If he just plays Show and Tell, or if he plays Sneak Attack, we can actually counter it, though. Staying above 15 is kind of important at the moment, but he just has like a billion lands. Alright, so uncounterable, here we go. What Fuck you. No, you're not doing that. Nope. Alright, so we have a chance. He only has one card in hand, and presumably it's a creature. Uh, here's the like, I guess we just have to put maximum pressure on. If he has Emrakul, he has Emrakul. We gotta threaten to kill him before things get really out of hand. Yeah, so let's play Master. The life total is already irrelevant, so we're just, if he doesn't do anything, he's dead next turn. So this is the power of blue-green fishies. We've put a ton of power on the board. He's definitely dead if he can't win this turn. You either have it or you die. And you can't, like, pyroclasm my board away. Well, that's bad. Yeah, you have another sneak attack. Alright. As long if it's Gristlebrand, then we might be okay, but if it's Emrakul, we're dead. Alright. Well, opponent just had... Never did our opponent not have it. I think they kept 7 all 3 games, and again, like, we had to mulligan pretty hard, so... This is a match where Chalice is pretty good against them. If we can put it on 0 and 1, that's fine, but... The Boseiju just made things really, really tough, and he had, you know, showing... You know, what was it? Or he had the 2 sneak attacks and a force to back it up. That was too much. I don't know. There's not really much else we could have done about it. I think we did as good as we could have hoped for. He put lethal on the board to threaten to kill him, but he just found it, so... And again, like, I don't know, like, Mono Blue might have done a slightly better, but not by much, because... Yeah... We took a little bit of damage off of our lands, so maybe we would have had time to rebuild, but I find it really unlikely that we still could have won it through an active sneak attack on board. Like, the chances that he's going to find another creature before we can assemble, like, a board again after getting Annihilator 6, that seems pretty unlikely. That was pretty rough. Like, we kept what we had to keep and just wasn't quite enough. Darn it. I mean, if we had Merfolk Trickster, I think we would definitely win that game, so... Maybe that's another argument for, like, the 4th Trickster instead of a Daze. Something to consider. Trickster is good against a lot of the not blue decks, but it's also really good against, like, the Delver decks, too, so... And it's like our best card against Sneak and Show. I would love to play first. This is so brutal. Like, we need another land so badly. The chances that we don't get there are just so high, though. Oof. Alright, I'm going to keep it. We're going to just try to draw land and be really good at Magic cards. Because we have Force of Will, I feel like we're protected a little bit from our stupidity. So, I can pitch a Mistbinder if necessary to a Force. That does not bode well for us. Alright, well, I guess we're attacking. Look at this, though. Like, this time we've played against 2 not blue decks, so... And then 1 combo deck where we had the 8 forces, but even that wasn't enough. So we might try to get use out of this Daze if he plays a 3-drop. This is a very, very stupid hand to keep, to be honest. It's like Stoneforge Mystic, we have to Force a Will that. Okay, well, we're definitely Force of Willing that. Oh, the internet went out for a second. Darn it. Alright, come on. Come on, MTGO, reconnect. There we go. We're back in business. Well, this Daze is losing value. I am going to counter this thing. We got to get value out of it while we still can. We didn't have a land drop anyway, so... If he plays Wasteland, though, we probably just lose. And this looks like the kind of deck that is going to play Wasteland in it, to be honest. Alright, that's not the worst thing he could have done. That's also not the worst thing that could have happened. Alright, well, I guess we're playing Biomancer and passing. Alright. I mean, we have 3 creatures in hand, and Thalia doesn't really do much against us. Ah, fuck, that's rough. Nope, nothing we can do about that. Alright, finally. Let's start playing Lords. I will attack with Speaker because there's no chance that, like, he's blocking it. This helps us potentially win the race, because if we can play Mistbinder and attack for a bajillion next turn, that helps. Plus, like, yeah, the chances that he's going to have a fetch land are pretty high to, like, increase this to a 4/4. Hope. Please don't have any more removal spells, though. That looks like... That's really, really bad. Foul! French fries. Sure. You can equip Sword to Thalia. There's nothing I can really do about that. Yeah, and you're just going to lock us out of the game now. Because you can just keep killing our lords every turn. I can go to 9, but I'm still just dead anyway, and I can only attack for 5. Alright, you win. You drew Jite and Sword of Fire and Ice. Like, what the hell are we supposed to do about that? This might be a matchup where we want this return to nature, though. I'm going to say Force of Negation is probably pretty poor, and so is Daze. However, Return to Nature, we might want this card. Tidal Warrior might be relevant here, too. I'm going to say... Echoing Truth is so-so. Yeah, actually, we probably want Dismember for, like, Knight of the Reliquary. So here's the other thing. This artifacts or enchantments, so if they do play something like Choke, this can kill it. But it kills their sword, so it means we don't actually have to Force of Will. We don't have to Force of Will Stoneforge Mystic as much. I think we can try it like this. All right. Submit. I think they probably have Green Sun Zenith in their deck, but I'm not sure. I think we can keep this. Play Vial, and we have mana to cast our creatures. So, I mean, at least for the benefit of our testing, like, this is, you know, another deck that's not a blue deck, so we're getting good testing out of it. It's kept 6 cards. Like, it's hard to say whether this kind of list is better or worse than mono blue, because these are still not great matchups for mono blue either. It's just trying to figure out whether this is actually better at, you know, even if it still is not favorable, maybe it's like less unfavorable for us, so I guess that's what we're looking at. Oh, that's beautiful. Alright, let's play our Lord. And then we'll probably play True Name Nemesis next turn, because they have a hell of a time getting through that card. We can threaten to Violin Cometa Speaker at any point. Yep, that's fine. Sure. Alright. One thing I can say is that we don't have the benefit of having Phantasmal Image to copy this True Name Nemesis. Alright, let's get in for 5. Don't ever click on yourself. You don't want to give True Name protection from yourself, but by accident. Yep, Dryad Arbor. It means he probably has like Gaia's Cradle coming and then maybe like Sword or something. Council's Judgment. There is nothing we can really do about that. He's going to exile True Name Nemesis. Yeah, Achilles votes for True Name Nemesis. I vote for True Name Nemesis as well. Sure. So if we actually Trickster this down right now, then we can attack for a bunch, so I'm going to do that. I'm not going to take up Aether Vial. If we draw a land, we can cycle a Waterlogged Grove. Alright, so I guess let's do this first. Beautiful. Alright, let's make some difficult attack choices for him. Yeah. Alright, he's only got one card in hand, and our board is way bigger. Any 2 creatures threatens to kill him, and he does not have enough to really block very well, so we probably get there. Depends on what this card is. Ooh, neat. You become the monarch, huh? You're gonna exile my lord, I'm taking it. But what it does mean is that... yeah, that's okay. When I become the monarch at the end of my turn from attacking you, then that's helpful. You get to draw cards. Let's activate this now. Sure. Nope. I don't know what else I guess maybe Trickster is what I'm looking for. So Merfolk. Or Echoing Truth actually was fine. Alright, well it doesn't really do it. However, this does let us attack in, so... our creatures are really big and scary, and his are not. I mean, this is probably enough to get there. Yeah? Alright, so what are you going to protect? Going to protect Mother Around, and what's this going to protect? Itself. Alright, so you're going to lose Noble Hierarch and Palace Jailer. So now that Palace Jailer is dead, do I still get my Lord of Atlantis back if I become the Monarch? I don't think it's going to matter, but yeah, no, there's nothing you could do there. Alright, well, so that was helpful. Alright, do I want to make any different choices here? Probably not. Echoing Truth is not super great, I guess, if they have like the Mother of Runes, because they can just kind of turn it off. I mean, they can also just replay things at any given point. I think Tidal Warrior is fine here. Giving our guys Island Walk will help a lot. Yeah, and I like the Return to Nature because it's a 1-for-1 against their equipment as opposed to Force of Will, which we're trying to 2-for-1 them with. So I think this will be fine. Yeah, I'm not going to make any changes. I think this is okay. Let's see if we can win this. Go into game 3. Yeah, actually, this is not the worst. We have Vial, so we can get this in play. If we draw like a green source, then maybe this Return to Nature matters. I mean, that's always rough, but we do have 2 lands. Alright, well, we have another Vial. So if they try to blow up our Aether Vial, then we still have another one to get things out. I mean, this is not a great hand by any stretch of the imagination, but it's the kind of hand that I think we have to just keep. Green Sun for 2 means probably... Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's actually fine. Waterlogged Grove. So here's the question. What do we do here? I think that we want to just play Lord this turn, and then next turn we'll play Waterlogged Grove, play Vial, and hold up Return to Nature. We're just hoping that they don't have Jite. It has protection from blue, which is kind of a... Yeah, this thing. It's probably one of their best sideboard cards for us. I'm just looking for them. Destroy target blue permanent. Alright, well... Red Elemental Blast is a thing. They're playing a Naya colored deck, so... We can't protect against that. Kind of hoping they play like Sword of Fire and Ice, because that gives these cards some value. Yes. Flooded Strand is actually okay, but I'm going to play Waterlogged Grove because there's a chance we might just cycle it for a card. If they don't do anything, then at the end of their turn I will draw a card. And they just use their Canopy land, so maybe they don't have a whole bunch going on either. Just a bunch of lands in hand. That's a scary one. Nope. Take one. So let's sack this for a card. I was really hoping to draw a fishy there. You got another Red Elemental Blast? That's ridiculous. Alright. Well, if we draw True Name, we can actually cast it, so... Take this one up, and I'm going to leave this one on too. We're not really hurting for lands. I guess we play Tropical Island. Now we're just flooding out, which is amazing because we already cycled a land and we have 18 in our deck, but, you know, the flood is real. At this point, True Name is probably the only way that we're going to get back in this because this knight is just going to get out of hand. Stoneforge, yeah. That's fine. I'm guessing you're gonna find like a sword. No, Jite. Alright, that's actually good. We can actually use this return to nature now. It's still not really gonna help us though. Oh, you're gonna get Gaia's Cradle. Neat. Alright, well, this is gonna, yeah, get dunked on. That's going away. So it's good that we had it. But we need to not have these lands in our hand. That's the problem. Now, drawing a bunch of dinks now is not going to help because this knight's already a 4/4. We could maybe exile a land from his graveyard. That's possible. This is not good. This suggests that, like, maybe he has a sword in hand or something, but if he has sword in hand, he can't actually equip it yet, so... And then we will get to return to nature. But we really, really, really need True Name Nemesis. Ah, fuck. No, Green Sun for 3, that's actually almost worse, because now we can just get another knight and have 12 power in play. It looks like we're going to lose. We had 2 creatures in our entire, like, draws here, and what, 6 lands that we went through and 2 vials. Yeah, we're going to take it. Alright. Damn it. Where are the hints? I forget. Oh no, it's here. I want to reset this because now actually I would want to tick this up to 3 because we need to be able to cast True Name and Return to Nature. Damn it, and I don't know which button it is that does that. Not that I feel like it really matters, but it's gonna, yeah, like, what do I do? Sure. Well, I guess it didn't matter. Alright, we are just, we are, like, straight dead. We lose. Flooded out. Nothing we can do about that. Darn it. Look at these. They're all, like, so close. Like, definitely had chances to get there, but just, like, keep drawing like shit. Oh, that's rough. I don't know what to say. Like, sometimes, you know, MTGO just doesn't go your way. Like, our sideboard card was relevant. We would have definitely died if we didn't have it, but the sideboard card doesn't do anything when the main deck cards just don't show up. So, I don't know. I think that Simic is definitely doing something. I don't know if it's doing exactly what I want it to do, but I don't know. We're still kind of experimenting. Maybe just having the phantasmal images was a little bit stronger. Just being able to put like multiple true names in play was good. The phantasmal images also do help a little bit against Dark Depths because if they don't have a removal spell, then being able to copy their Merit Lodge with image gives you a lot of time until they can target it with something. I don't know. This isn't going as well as I had hoped, but it's also I don't know that I'd say it's going like it's not terrible. I mean, yes, we lost, but they're all like again 1-2, so like they're close. Like there are definitely ways to win those games if we didn't just, you know, have shit draws. Or, you know, the opposite where like the opponent just has everything, which, you know, it goes back to something I said earlier. Merfolk is not a very high variance deck. There are a lot of other high variance decks in Magic. We're just not one of them, so we're good at consistency, we're not good at explosiveness. Alright, I won the die roll, so let's go first. Yeah, this actually is fine. We keep this. Get our tropical, Daze is online, and Vile. This is ideal. We've got protection and things to do with it. I'm not going to get the tropical island right away. I want to just get basic island to play around Wasteland. Alright, what do we got? Misty, okay. That doesn't really tell us anything. Oh, we got tons of lords here. Alright. So I'll get tropical now. Alright. We'll play our Silvergill Adept, and then we'll just start crushing them with lords. And I'm willing to use a Daze to protect this, I think. Oh my god, we're just gonna have lords for days. Actually, no, we have days for lords. Damn. Alright, what are you doing here? I'm hoping this is like Rug Delver, because if it is, then I think we're in a very good spot. We can just put Lord into play, and attack for 4. Okay. What are you thinking about doing? Are you just trying to figure out what this tropical island nonsense is all about? I don't know if this is something that I want to play like on MTGO a lot, but I think in paper this is probably a little bit better. I don't know, it's hard to say. Volcanic Island, so you're gonna like lightning bolt this thing? You are? Okay, that's fine. You can bolt it. I've got bajillions of creatures that I am glad for you to waste bolt on that instead of something more important. What are you doing? Is this... yeah, fuck that. If you want this thing, you're gonna have to pay for it, and you don't. Alright, so we're up to 2. Jesus Christ, we just have lords forever. Alright, well, he already knows we have this, so we may as well just cast it. If he's gonna daze it, that's fine. But if his plan is to just play another Arcanist and then try to use this bolt from the graveyard with that thing, that's not going to go well, because we're going to have 4 lords in play before he can ever actually do that. At least that's the plan. Ugh. So this does look like Rug Delver, which is fine. I guess we're hoping for like Tarmogoyf plus Delver at this point. But I'm expecting to see that. And that's going to be too little too late, because these are going to be 4/4s. Oh, Hex Drinker. Okay, well, we're just going to nut crush you now. That card is way too slow. There is, like, no way that you're beating us with that thing. We have the infinite Lord draw, and it's just going to get worse. Alright. I have Lords forever. Take 10 and die next turn. If I'm not gonna block anything, I promise you. You are super, super, super dead. Unless you have, like, Land, Manamorphose, Wrath of God, I don't think you're coming back from this. This is just way, way too much. Like, this card just looks stupid compared to this. You are never going to have enough time to level this thing up in the face of, like, 20 Island Walk damage. Please try, though. I would love that. Ren in 6. Okay. You can deal 1 damage to any target. That's fine. Alright, you get your Scalding Tarn back. Alright. You still need to have, like, 2 bolts just to kill 1 creature. So what are you using this lightning bolt on? Okay. You have 3 cards in hand. I'm fine with doing this. I'll block 1. Sure. I'm curious to see what your plan is. You can kill this thing, but that's not going to kill this. Okay. Now, how are you dealing with that? That is exactly what I thought. Alright. There was no plan there, just trying for the sake of trying. So this deck usually plays Young Pyromancer, which means Echoing Truth is probably okay. We're going to have to pretty aggressively go after basics, though. Biomancer's probably going to be a little bit slow. Force of Negation, that's interesting. I don't know if we want that card. We might actually need Force of Negation if they're playing Ren in 6, but we might want the Dismembers instead. I don't generally like Dismember against decks that are playing Lightning Bolt, but at the same time, we have to get rid of the Dreadhorde Arcanist off the board immediately, or it's just going to start nut crushing us in value. So, it's on the other hand, like, we may not want this Cometa Speaker though. That's enough because he's still playing Wasteland, and if we take out Force of Negation, then we're just making ourselves weaker against Ren in 6. No, I think it's okay. I think we still need it. I guess maybe Trickster is actually, it could come out. Okay, so let's bring in Dismember. Do we want forces? Actually no, we want like the Grafdigger's Cages because yeah, that's fine. We can Grafdigger's Cage is okay. That turns off Dreadhorde Arcanist by itself. Alright, you know what? Let's just run it like this. I don't want to take out all the counter magic because having some is important. I guess we can keep this. This has a nice curve to it. You can Cavern to get Speaker into play, and then play Tropical Islands, and then this. Sure. So actually, I might want to dismember this instead. Oh, that's useful. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to get rid of the Delver of Secrets. And then if he tries to play Arcanist, then I will Force a Will and pitch Merfolk Trickster. Yep, that's fine. Okay, we can still play Kumena Speaker. That's fine. He's running out of cards. I'm gonna still counter this. All right. It looks like maybe he's debating on something like Daze in his hand. I'm not sure. All right. Well, let's get our Kumena Speaker out first. Actually, you know what? He might have Ren in 6. That's a possibility. And if he does, he can just deal 1 damage to it. So, you know what? I'm going to play the Grafdigger's Cage first. Because this might eat a counterspell. Alright, no. So he doesn't have it. But yeah, because Ren in 6, he might be waiting to play it until after he aggressively uses the Wasteland. He'd have to play another land first, which means then we can get Master in the play and then play Kumena Speaker. Sure, Ponder. Alright, that's fine. But doing this prevents him from trying to like crawl back into the game with Arcanist. And it plays around Ren in 6 this turn. Okay. We're hoping for maybe like Island or another Lord. Alright. Now we can play this and not take damage. We actually could have played Kumena Speaker there. That might have been better. On the other hand, if we draw another Lord next turn, then it lets us play 2 spells, so maybe this actually was correct. Or we can play Speaker and then crack Waterlog Grove for another card. It looks like he doesn't have a lot more to do. Maybe just a bunch of lands in hand. No, that's neat. Alright, let's attack. Alright, you have a bolt, that's fine. I'm going to play the Vial. And then I'm probably going to crack Waterlog Grove. Hold on to Speaker for right now. It's because this is a better chance to do this, and then we can Vial Speaker in next turn. This gives us the best chance of putting 2 creatures into play in 1 turn. It's beautiful. It doesn't have infinite removal. Only got 3 cards left, so it's going to run out eventually. That's fine. We can keep that island in our hand for right now. If we draw True Name, then we can just play the island and then play it anyway. I guess the only reason we might want to play island is if we draw Canopy next turn. But we're going to have this in 2 regardless. So far, things are looking pretty good for us, though. He just has a bunch of stupid nonsense in hand that he can't do anything with. It's got to be like Dazes or something. Alright, what are you thinking about doing? You want to bolt in the upkeep before I can draw force? Alright, well. Attack. You have, like, Snapcaster to trade with this? You might. What are you doing? Red, green, do you have, like, Abrupt Decay? No, a Braid. No, that's fine. Alright, well, we're relying on Kamena Speaker to carry this game for us right now until we can find some more threats. A really good turn for us would look something like Silvergill Adept into True Name Nemesis. I'm just curious, like, maybe he just has a bunch of, like, Upgrades and Bolts in hand and just doesn't have a good way to use them. Nope. Come on, what do we got? That's not helpful. No, we'll save it for right now. The Arcanist doesn't have haste, so even if he kills the stupid Grafdigger's Cage, as long as there's no Arcanist in play, he's not going to use this. He might blow up our, cavern just because he can. So now Vial's a little bit more important. We'll keep it on 2 until the turn we draw True Name. Oh, that's fine, we can do that. Attack. I feel confident so far. Like, he's just drawing a bunch of duds. Ooh, we just F6 the turn. Alright. Ah, that's not a good draw. Maybe he's just drawing a bunch of stupid things like that. What could you possibly have, though? Like, it just has to be all counter spells. Things like Pyroblast. Alright, well, we're going to play this Vial, and then maybe we can get 1 on 2, and then 1 ticked up to 3. Yeah, play more lands. You just have nothing to actually do. So yes, tick this one up, and no, don't tick this one up. Oh, that's fine. We can Vial that in on his end step. This Kamena Speaker is doing a hell of a lot of work, though. Being a 2-2 for 1 has been really good. Come on, surely you have 6 cards in hand. What could you possibly have that just doesn't do anything? Alright, now you have to, like, start using bolts, right? Your life total is just way more important than this. Yes, and yes. Alright, well, that's a thing, I guess. Maybe he just has, like, a bunch of Force of Wills. Alright, well, let's just run this out, I guess. Just in case he, like, abrades something, then he's still not going to be able to use any of these. Alright, just gave up. I guess his hand was just hot garbage. So Simic did some work there. We saw the power against the Arcanist deck. That was kind of good. First game, we just played like 5 Lords. I don't think we got to play Mistbinder though. That was unfortunate. But Kamena Speaker did a lot of work, that's for sure. Oh, lost another die roll. I have a natural talent for losing the die roll in Magic. This, I guess we keep it. It's gonna hurt us a lot with our mana, but we can pitch the days to force if we need to. And I mean, we can still cast a bunch of lords, so this is not looking pleasant for us, though. This is looking like we might have to force a will like a Thought-Knot Seer, I'm guessing. I mean, it could also be Show and Tell. Alright, well that's going to help a lot. So if this is Ancient Tomb, and then they play like Island, Show and Tell, we have Force at least to try. No, this looks like this might just be Eldrazi, so I'm gonna take 4 damage for this. Walking Ballista, huh? Yeah, we have to counter that. We don't have enough lords out yet for that to matter. Alright, so maybe this is Bomberman, actually. So he only has 2 cards left in hand, but might be looking to cast something really scary next turn, because he can potentially go up to like 7 mana. True Name is going to help. Let's see. I guess we're going to play Mistbinder and hope for the best. This is a Walking Ballista deck, so you've seen tonight, like, we definitely picked, like, all the matches that we wanted to test this against. That's for sure. Having 12 Lords in a deck against Walking Ballista is going to be really important. Okay, never mind. He's going to play Karn, I'm sure. Yeah, this is Bomberman, so we are in trouble now. As soon as he plays, like, Lion's Eye Diamond, then he's just going to have an infinite combo. Yep. Is what it is. So we might need to hang on to this Trickster in case, like, next turn he does play Lion's Eye Diamond. If we draw a Lord, we can actually attack through this thing, though. And we may have to do that. Alright, well, we can't really attack. Not yet, anyway. We'll save Trickster. If he plays LED, then we can Trickster this down for 1 turn and hopefully find like Echoing Truth or something. Otherwise, he's just going to keep drawing an extra card with Mishra's Bauble every turn, but it's going to cost him a shit ton of life to do that. If he gets whack Walking Ballista, that's not actually that bad either, because now we have enough Lords to push through it. We're definitely going to Trickster this down anyway, just because it gives us a chance of actually killing him next turn. Then if we draw a Lord, we win. And otherwise, I can just tick Vial up for True Name Nemesis and just keep... actually, no, we don't want to do that, because we want to keep Vial on 2, so that way we can potentially draw a Lord right now. Force Will. I'm gonna crack this at the moment, because if we find Lord, we win. Sure. Excellent. See, we got there. And we stole game 1 against Bomberman. That's pretty legit. And we have the force. There's nothing they can do about it. There's gonna yeah, this looks like a concession. Alright, cool. Yeah, look at this. Playing a bunch of lords was enough to win the game. Alright, so what do we do against this deck? I think we need Dismember. We have to kill Ariok Salvagers. The forces seem relevant. Salvagers is the one we really need to force. I don't think Daze is going to be helpful. Actually, this deck, I believe, also plays Monastery Mentor, so Dismember is doubly important. It's another deck where Benthic Biomancer is not super great. But it's also a deck where maybe we want Tidal Warrior, because they don't usually have a lot of white sources in their deck, so maybe we do want this card. What else? True Name is okay. It's not amazing. Well, actually, it kind of is. I don't know, it's tough. It pushes through stuff like Ballista. The question is, what we have to cut 2 more cards. What do we want to cut? We could cut Echoing Truth, but Echoing Truth is also one of our only outs against them making a bajillion Monastery Mentor tokens. I think, and there's also the possibility we want Return to Nature in our deck. I believe they do play like Karn. So, this is rough. All right, maybe Tidal Warrior is going to be too slow here. So maybe just another Echoing Truth. We can. The Truth bounces tokens, but I don't know. Force of Negation is not amazing. It's just. I'm trying to think. Like, half of their combo is a creature, and the other half are just like value cards and like Lion's Eye Diamond. Well, countering Lion's Eye Diamond is really helpful. That's true. But bouncing the I don't know. That's hard to say. We might just do it like this and see how it goes. I don't know if this is right. Maybe it's not. Echoing Truth helps us catch back up. I guess that's the reason I'm leaning that way. Alright, I'm not sure exactly how we want to do this, because I know this list is, yeah, Bomberman is a list that's changed a lot recently, so they are now playing like Karn the Great Creator in their deck, as far as if I recall correctly. So I guess we're gonna keep this. Hopefully we can have Dismember for Mentor or Salvagers right away. We can start playing creatures, that would be nice. I'm pretty sure this is a Wasteland deck, so maybe we want the island here. Actually, we have green sources in our hand. Yeah, that's fine. Well, we're definitely dismembering this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna get Basic Island. They'll get 1 token out of it, so that's... And we can always bounce the token with Echoing Truth if we need to. Alright, hopefully that was good enough. And I think now we'll just start jamming lords until we can get there. That's actually kind of good. Alright, so... Go. Merfolk. Go Lord. So hopefully, you know, we want to try to get out of range of Ballista as soon as possible. But if he plays like... Yeah, I guess he could play like Ancient Tomb and maybe Ballista for 3. Or, okay, what's going on? Swords of Plowshares. Okay, well, that sucks. Next turn, I guess we can play Commander Speaker and maybe Echoing Truth this token back to their hand. It's possible. What are they doing here? Is this Ballista? If they play Ballista, I might just Echoing Truth Ballista back, because now they're only down to 2 mana. Why did they cast that? They did not need to do that, right? That was dumb. They didn't even use the City of Traders mana. Okay, so what I will do here is, okay, since we have Vial, I want to start getting value out of Vial right away, so I will cast Vial, and then I will probably bounce this back to their hand, or I will cast Trickster on it and try to eat it in combat. Okay, so yeah, we'll let them play some Lotus Petals and stuff like that. And we can Echoing Truth this thing. Yep. Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm not sure. Well, he could just make a mana in response right now, so that doesn't actually do anything. Yeah, okay, you have an LED in play. You know what? We're just gonna Trickster it. I want to put creatures into play as soon as possible. No prowess for you. Right now, we're kind of vulnerable to the combo, I believe. So we got to be kind of careful here. All right, excellent. So you can play Master or play Commander Speaker, and we have Force of Will in case they get Champion. No, actually, we do not because Cavernous Souls is on Human. This is an interesting question. So what happens here? You can sack all 4 of those. You can have infinite mana and get back. If he has infinite mana, he can just make this thing like an infinitely big token, but that's not really good by itself. Alright. I think we can afford to... Yeah, if he makes it an infinitely big token, we'll just chump block it. That's fine. We gotta put pressure out. If we have to burn the Force of Will or the Echoing Truth for whatever reason on this, then that's fine, so be it. Or if we have to burn Commander Speaker as a chump blocker, so be it. But I think this is okay. As long as he doesn't play, like, I don't know, maybe Walking Ballista would be bad. Well, he can't use the LED for it, so it would be an X equals 2. Yeah, that's... I mean, I guess. You just drew another LED. If you attack, I'm just gonna Vial in Speaker and block. Oh, here we go. Get dunked on. Alright. Never did I not have it. Alright, do you have... I guess it doesn't matter. Even if you have Swords to Plowshares, I can counter it and still trade with your token. Alright, opponent is in a lot of trouble right now. Yes. Alright, beautiful. Let's put Lord in play. I think we're going to get there. We saw the power of Commander Speaker being a 3/3 to block that thing. That was really sick. This is definitely one of the decks where I wanted to have extra Lords, though, because it's a Walking Ballista deck, so... It matters. They played City of Traders. Alright, what are you doing with it? You just gonna play Ballista for a bunch? X equals 3 can't be countered. That's fine. You can kill off one creature. If you add a counter to this, I can actually just bounce it back to your hand. Oh, actually, I could bounce the Lord back to my hand. That's interesting. Sure. You have 4 counters, so when you use the 3rd counter in this, I can actually bounce the Lord back to my hand and make you have to just waste the Ballista. Alright. You should definitely not let me untap with this thing. Okay, well, you're fucked. Alright. I don't know what to tell you, but this is not going to work out for you the way you wanted it to. Attack. So the question is, I could bounce it now. No, I don't want to do that. I want him to block, and then I will activate Vial, and then if he starts trying to ping something, then I can Echoing Truth it. Okay. Does this even matter, though? Like, if I bounce this back to my hand, like, he's going to block this, but he's still going to... He's at 6. Like, he's still going to take 7 damage. It's not going to matter. This is not a winning line for him. So I guess it doesn't really make a difference. Like, the fact that we have the Mistbinder means he's taking 6 damage. And there is nothing he can do about it. Because having 12 Lords beats Walking Ballista. Alright, well, that was sort of disappointing, but at the same time, like, I think there was definitely some merit to what we were doing. Because, as you can see, like, most of the leagues that we've played so far have been leagues where we played against a ton of blue decks, but tonight I think we played against, like, 1 or 2 blue decks instead, so... What was it? The Delver deck, and then the Sneak and Show deck. But then we played against Bomberman, we played against a Naya Midrange deck, and then we also played against, damn it, what was the other one? Turbo Depths. So, I mean, it just, yeah, it shows you, like, that's the sort of metagame I might expect to play against in paper, and I'm definitely thinking about I'm thinking that's closer to what I'll see this weekend, is a more balanced mix of stuff like that. So, I don't know, I think because I might see those kind of decks, I actually do think that there's merit to playing the Simic build. I think for online purposes, playing mono blue most of the time is better because there just are more blue decks online, as from my experience. And mono blue is better against the blue decks, so there's no reason not to just have the best advantage against the greatest number of decks. Yeah, I don't know, but for paper, I think that this is definitely an interesting list to play. Yeah. One advantage that like it has is well, I don't know if it's an advantage, but like it's not playing Chalice of the Void in the deck, which against a lot of the decks we were just playing against, they're not actually Chalice isn't actually that good. Chalice is only really good against blue decks, so if you're in a metagame where like Chalice is good against 50 or more % of the decks you're going to play, then yeah, main decking Chalice makes sense, but if you're going to play against a metagame where like less than 50% of the decks Chalice is going to be good against, then maybe it doesn't make sense to be playing it in the main deck at the very least, or maybe you'd rather play more just beef in your deck like Mistbinder that will end up beating cards like Walking Ballista. You saw like Mistbinder actually did just get in for lethal against it, so having more Lords was definitely a boon there. I don't know about this Daze. I think maybe this Daze would be better as another Trickster. That's kind of hard to say. I mean, there are already a lot of times where I wasn't even sure if I wanted all the Force of Negation, so maybe we don't need 2 of them in the sideboard if we have like 2 in the main deck already. That's possible. Because Force is a card that you want like against unfair decks, but you can't have too many of them because the card disadvantage is a lot. Like, you have to be able to put creatures in play to threaten your opponent with, but at the same time you need enough blue cards in hand as well to be able to pitch to your forces. So realistically, like, you can only usually cast like 2 of them before like turn 3 or 4. Because yeah, that's just a ton of card disadvantage. And unless you're playing against a deck like Sneak and Show, you can't really afford to be doing that. So maybe we don't want all 8 forces in the 75. And I don't know, maybe Days can go to the sideboard for those kind of matches. There's definitely some room to explore that. I don't know. I think overall, like, this was fine. You know, all the 3 games that we lost were all 1-2, so it's not like they were total blowouts by any means. We definitely were able to put up a fight there, and yeah, I think that Simic has got some legitimacy to it in Legacy. Just depends upon what you expect you're going to play against. One strategy that I've started to adopt is like siding out Benthic Biomancer more, and it's a lot easier to do that and still maintain a curve when you have you know, 7 1-drop creatures to play. Keeping in Kumena Speaker and siding out Benthic Biomancer against a deck like Delver matters a lot, because it means like Kumena Speaker can attack for 3 into like Dreadhorde Arcanist with just 1 Lord, whereas Ben is probably not doing that. Or it can just sit back as a yeah, if you put like 2 Lords in play, then it can sit back as a 4/4 blocker, and they can't ever attack into it. Yeah, there's a lot of situations where you can, you know, having the Kumena Speaker it also helps you play around like Mother of Runes a little bit too. If they give their creature protection from blue, well, you have a green creature now you can actually block with instead of, you know, just having it effectively be unblockable because of Mother of Runes. So it helps the deck a lot, and it makes it easier to side Ben out and still be aggressive at the same time. And yeah, the same thing with like Mistbinder. Being able to slap down that pressure is great. Phantasmal Image can do that a little bit, but Phantasmal Image is also a hell of a lot worse against cards like Walking Ballista, where they can just ping it once and then it doesn't matter how big it is, it just dies on the spot. So then the rest of your Lord army is falling as a result of that. Whereas like when in that last game, once we had 3 Lords into play at the same time, it just becomes almost impossible to try to machine gun them down, because you have to, you know, deal something like 8 points of damage to actually kill everything. Or what is it? 4 to the first. You have to deal like 4 to the first one, and then 3 to the next one, and then 2 to the last one. So like 9 points of damage to actually kill all the Lords once there's 3 of them in play. Versus like if there's Phantasmal Image in play, then they only need to deal 1 to the image, and then 3 to the second Lord, and then 2 to the last one. So that's 6 points versus 9 points. That 6 is pretty achievable. Like, there was a point at which, you know, he could have reasonably like gotten to 6 mana to actually you know, kill our board, but there's no way in hell he was ever getting to 9. So yeah, I think this was fine. Maybe we'll do this again. We'll see. It depends. I think more likely for online, though, we're probably going to stick to mono blue. But yeah, this could come back if by popular request. If people want to see more Simic and Legacy, then yeah, this is definitely an option on the table. So. Alright, also housekeeping stuff. Since I will be gone on Saturday and Sunday, chances are you are probably not going to see a new video until probably Monday night at the earliest. Yeah, I just am not going to have enough time to record anything between now and then, unfortunately. Uh, so, yeah, the next league will... I'm assuming it will probably be Modern, and then we'll go back to Mono Blue and Modern for the next league. And probably Monday night is when I would expect that. Tuesday by the absolute latest, if for some reason something comes up. So, yeah, well, I hope everybody enjoyed watching this. That's all I've got for now, so I'm going to stop rambling and let you get on with your day. So take it easy, everybody, and I'll see you next time.